guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another review for this week, and this week we'll be reviewing the fourth book in the Jason Bourne series, The Bourne Legacy by Erich von Lustbader. I have done reviews for the other three Jason Bourne books. They are on a playlist, so if you guys want to rewatch those videos, I will leave a link to that playlist up in the cards so you guys can go and rewatch those videos and then come back and watch this one. As always, format for the book review, summary of the story, pros, cons, final thoughts, and ranking of the book. So with all that out of the way, let's get started. Our story kicks off with David Webb just enjoying life. He's now a college professor at Georgetown. He's living his best life, but as we all know, that never seems to stay the case for too long when one day he almost gets killed in an assassination attempt. Automatically, his Bourne instincts take off and he has to go search for answers. In order to find the answers that he needs, he goes to the two people that he trusts most, Mo Panov and Alex Conklin. But when David Webb gets to Conklin's house, he realizes that Mo Panov and Alex Conklin are dead and that it was a setup to frame him for their murders. Jason Bourne now has to follow the clues that Alexander Conklin left David Webb in order to figure out whatever Alexander Conklin was working on before he died. So first thing I want to talk about for the pro section is how well of a job Lustbader was able to do capturing Ludlum's Bourne. So, as you can see, Ludlum was not the one writing this book. Lustbader took over after Ludlum's unfortunate passing in 2001. So, Lustbader is the one who actually wrote this particular book. And I think Lustbader did an excellent job at capturing Ludlum's version of Bourne, but really making it his own. Lustbader, again, does a really good job at making Bourne his own character, but still respecting what came before with Ludlum's version of the character in the first three books. Again, I think Lustbader does a very good job at capturing a lot of the same emotion and the same characterization that Ludlum did for the first three books. Lustbader, again, does a really good job at translating a lot of that into his version of Bourne, but adding a bit more humanity for this Bourne, because there's a lot of really personal stuff that happens to Bourne in this book, and I really like how Lustbader was able to connect all the personal stuff that happens in this book to this Bourne. I really do think that Lustbader did a really good job at capturing Ludlum's Bourne, but not entirely copying. Again, there are kind of slight differences between the two characters, but I very much did enjoy Lustbader's version of Bourne, and I think, again, he did a really good job at capturing what we all loved about Ludlum's first three books, but still making it his own and making the fourth book a very good entry. So, second thing for the pro section I really want to talk about is the new character Khan. During this book, we actually meet a new assassin character named Khan, and he's hunting Jason Bourne down throughout the books. I don't want to spoil the big surprise, because if you haven't read this book, I want you guys to go into this blind, but this twist is great. Again, I'm not going to say anything about what the twist is, and if you do know, please do not say anything in the comments for anyone who hasn't read the book, but I really enjoyed the character of Khan. The real reason I enjoy Khan as a character in this book, Lustbader does a great job at the pure emotional expression and making us feel what Khan's going through during this book. Khan has a lot of shots and a lot of truth dropped on him throughout the book, and Lustbader, I think, does an excellent job at getting us inside of Khan's head while he's figuring out this information and even figuring out himself. There are a lot of really good moments with Khan and Bourne, particularly later in the book after the twist is revealed, but Lustbader, I think, did a really good job at having us connect to Khan as a character and as a person, and I really hope Lustbader brings Khan back for any other Bourne books he writes, but I don't know. If you guys know if he's a one and done character or if he's in multiple books, please, again, do not spoil that. I want to go into the other books not knowing ahead of time, but I really did enjoy Khan as a character, and I really hope Lustbader decided to bring Khan back as a character, because I really enjoyed him. starting off the con section, I'm going to be discussing one really big problem I have, and that is I think Lustbader spends a little too much time with the antagonists during the book. Throughout the book, just like the other 3 books, like Ludlum followed the villains, Lustbader does the same thing. But I think Lustbader spends maybe a bit too much of the book following the antagonists through their section of the plot. Now, this to me isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not like what the villains were doing was boring or anything. Even they had their own little subplots weaved in throughout. But I think Lustbader might have spent a little too much time on their section of the plot. Lustbader just spends a little too much time for me. And this overall is a really good book, but I think personally, at least, Lustbader again spends a bit too much time with the antagonists and what they're doing. If Lustbader had cut some of what the villains do, this book would have flowed maybe a bit better, but as it is written, it's still very good. I just think Lustbader, for the sake of time management and plot in general, should have cut some of the antagonists' sections of the book, and overall I think the book might have flowed slightly better. But as it's written, it's a really good book, but that's just one thing I ended up noticing while reviewing. So second thing for the con section I really want to talk about is the fact that I think Lustbader glosses over Alex and Mo's deaths way too fast in this book. Really what I mean is, I don't think Lustbader really let that Bourne is seeing the 2 people that he trusts the most dead. There's only a very small reaction in the moment from Bourne, and he's all shocked, like, what happened? As we all would be. And there's a little bit of grief in the middle of that. But I really think, like, there should have been a very much bigger reaction to that happening. I get for the sake of story that Lustbader needs to keep the plot moving, but Bourne is seeing the 2 people he trusts most dead. I think there would be a very much bigger reaction than what we get in the book. Like, that's the one thing I think I'm gonna give Lustbader a little bit of a problem with. I think there really should have been a bigger reaction from Bourne when he's seeing Alex and Mo dead. Again, I understand Lustbader has to keep the plot moving, but I think he could have taken a bit longer to show Bourne and Webb's reaction to the fact that Alex and Mo are dead. Those 2 have been helping David/Bourne recover. I just wish there were a bigger reaction from Bourne than we really got in the book. And that's the one thing that bothers me a little bit about this. Final thoughts on the book here. Overall, I really do enjoy the Bourne Legacy. I think Lustbader does a very good job at capturing Ludlum's Bourne, but again, making it his own thing. I really love Khan as a character. He was really cool. And aside from a couple of small plot and pacing related things, I really do enjoy this book overall as an entry into the Jason Bourne series. I'm going to be giving the Bourne Legacy a 7 out of 10. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please do not forget, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss a video. If you guys want to discuss the Bourne Legacy, please leave your thoughts about the book in the comments, but again, please leave them spoiler-free for anyone who hasn't read the book. That's all I'm asking. You guys can discuss it freely, but please keep it spoiler-free. If you guys want to see more of my Jason Bourne-related content, I will leave a link up to the playlist up in the cards so you guys can go and rewatch my other Jason Bourne videos. If you guys want to connect on social media, my Instagram is Riley Murray Book Reviews, my Twitter is Riley T. Murray, and my Facebook is Riley Murray Book Reviews as well. I will leave links to all those accounts down in the description so you guys can go and follow those if you want. If you guys have books you want me to do reviews on in the future, please leave them down in the comments or leave them as comments on my social media pages. I will see you guys next week for the next video. Have a great weekend and don't forget, keep on reading.